Okay, so I've been wanting to make this video for a while, but I didn't really know how to approach it. So about a month ago, I was watching one of Jen Love's videos where she does a beauty industry news update, and my interest was piqued when I heard her say that Fakai salons in New York City were mentioned in the Epstein files. And that was alarming to me for a number of reasons, but it might not be what you think. So I don't want to dive too deep into the files specifically today, just because that's a lot and it's heavy, and I'm not well versed enough to be doing any of that. I wanted to address the bigger picture of what this conversation, what these articles that have been discussed about it mean, big picture. And I wanted to share a little bit more about why these allegations are very concerning, especially as a hairstylist working in the industry currently. Before I get started, I just want to show you what she said and what kind of inspired this video to be created.
Unfortunately, friends, we have another beauty brand in the Epstein files this week, Fakai Haircare. Apparently, the Fakai styling studio was something Jeffrey Epstein treated his friends and acquaintances to often. He maintained a charge account and visited regularly himself. The files revealed that stylists even occasionally made house calls to his mansion on the Upper East Side of New York. His girlfriends and staff members, his urologist, multiple other people were named, and some were redacted from the files that also had appointments that were on Jeffrey's tab. Business of Fashion published an article on this about the connection, and they went so far as to say that their relationship helped Jeffrey keep up his physical appearance, which was very important to him. The files also show how loyal Jeffrey was to Fakai and other businesses that, quote, acted as cogs in his perks machine over multiple years. In fact, he made so many appointments at Fakai for so many people that his staff had trouble keeping up with them. One email from 2015 reads, "Hi girls, I'm trying to figure out who went to Fakai on March 14th for a blowout and braids and on March 25th for coloring and haircut. Please help." Frederick Fakai did not respond to Business of Fashion's request for comments, but in an interview last year with the DOJ, Elaine Maxwell described Fakai and Jeffrey as friendly, very friendly, during the 2000s. In 2010, Fakai's wife, Shirin von Wolfen, invited Jeffrey to a, quote, fun evening of drinks and dancing at one of the toughest doors in New York nightlife. It's commonly referred to as the Boom Boom Room, and the party was held to celebrate Fakai's award for an Order of Merit that he had gotten in his native country of France. Now, at the time, Jeffrey wrote to Fakai, "Would you like Prince Andrew at your Monday Boom Boom?" Fakai responded, "Yes." According to the Business of Fashion article, Fakai requested time with his own masseuse in Jeffrey's massage room, and on at least 3 occasions, he also asked to use or stay at the 301 East 66th Street. That is an apartment block where Epstein reportedly housed connections and some of his victims. Beyond that, it seems Jeffrey would only hook people up with services at Fakai if he was getting something in return.
As I said, I don't want to dive into the files themselves, but I do want to discuss why the situation is so concerning to me, knowing what we do about the allegations in the files. Search results for Fakai appeared 3,112 times on the Department of Justice website at the time of writing the script for this video. I'm going to be very transparent. I did not go through all 3,000 plus files, but of what I did go through was mostly correspondence between Bella Klein, who was a assistant accountant of sorts for Epstein, Leslie Groff, who is also another personal assistant, and Epstein himself, just regarding invoices, clarifications of services from the Fakai salon in New York. But at face value, you're probably thinking, okay, well, why are you talking about this then? Especially if you're not going to go through specific documents. What's the big deal then? Well, salons are hotspots for trafficking. And to be honest, it's not how you think. Salons and spas are the #1 location for trafficking. Nail salons are commonly a space that exploits cheap labor, while salons and spas are the #1 place for trafficking to occur. And you're probably thinking, why? The answer is easy. It's disguise. These are the easiest places to transform somebody's appearance in order to make them less detectable or identifiable. Basically, you can make them disappear right in plain sight. And this is also a way for victims to be primed for their traffickers. Many states have passed laws that require beauty industry professionals or service industry professionals, such as tattoo artists and massage therapists, to receive training on recognizing the signs of trafficking or DV behavior, with the goal that they feel empowered to act as first responders in those situations. Now, that obviously doesn't mean to cause a scene or to possibly expose the person you assume to be a victim of trafficking or DV. I'll have resources linked below, but I did want to share some easy tips that are good to have on hand in case you ever are in a situation where this could be a possibility. Typically, the client will be accompanied by somebody who speaks on their behalf. They'll make the decisions for them on what's being done during the service, and typically they'll pay in cash. Obviously, they don't want a record of ever being there. The person accompanying them will be helicoptering. They'll kind of hover while you're working, listening to the conversation, and never leave the side. So if it's like, here's your chair and there's an open chair here where no one's working, they'll sit right there. Even if you say, excuse me, could you please go sit in the lobby? They're not going to do that. They will stay right there, eyes on the client. Also, the clients will be more reserved, a little timid, and in some cases they might seem disoriented or even try to avoid eye contact at all costs. There could be signs of bruising or maybe even branding, especially around their neck, their head, usually like behind the ear. And typically throughout the conversation, if they are talking to you, their story doesn't really make sense. There's inconsistencies in their story, or it's changing ever so slightly, but enough that you pick up on it. It's super important to never be confrontational in these situations where you suspect that somebody could possibly be a victim of trafficking of some sort. And it's important to also keep the National Human Trafficking Hotline phone number on hand at your salon. Keep it on speed dial in your phone. Have it saved. It's better to have it and not need it than to be in a situation where you need it and you don't know how to get a hold of the proper people. I am going to have a link below this video for Polaris, which is an advocacy group with a mission to end human trafficking. They offer free training if you're interested, and they also have other resources and information that is super handy to know if you'd like to look into it more. By being educated and knowing what to do, you could help a victim become a survivor. I know today's video was really short and kind of heavy, but this is a very serious discussion that needed to happen, inspired by a very serious issue, inspired by real victims and survivors whose stories might otherwise just get lost in obscurity on government websites and files in law enforcement agencies. I don't even really know how to wrap up this video, so thank you so much for watching. Share it with somebody who you think would find the information helpful, and definitely check out Polaris and other resources and articles that I have linked below that I used to help me write the script for this video. Thanks for joining me today, and I will see you next week.